Okay, you remember that? Miley Cyrus, that's Robin Thicke actually performing. This was at the MTV Music Video Awards. Is that right? I think it was. And Miley, you remember her, that fresh, scrubbed Hannah Montana Disney star who became this orgasmic, dancing, twerking tramp? She's gone through, 3, 4, 5 high-profile image reinventions. Each time, it seems, is more sexualized and, deranged, can we say? She's really gone off the deep end, it seems to me. She's a passing embarrassment to a lot of parents, but are young people paying attention to this? What does this say about sexualizing self-image, about body image in general, the self-centered kind of risk-taking that a lot of young people are doing, youth behavior in this all-electronic age of self-absorbed instant messaging and instant gratification? Mom, Dad, do you give a dang? Do you worry about Miss Miley's influence on your child or maybe your grandchildren? Merely kids being kids, or is it time for an intervention or at least a talk? This is a segment I think you're going to like. We're going to be doing this for a number of weeks now, though it'll typically be in the 2 o'clock hour. Mind and Body with Drs. Amy Brodsky and Michelle Epstein. Dr. Brodsky, she's a board-certified dermatologist. Her practice, the Derm, is in Glenview. She has another one she just acquired in Park Ridge. Dr. Michelle Epstein is a clinical psychologist with expertise in child development, parenting, trauma, women's mental health issues. Both of these docs are moms. Our phone number is 312-981-7200. I invite you to join our conversation. Now, doctors, good to have you aboard.
Great to be here,
Yeah,
Bill.
great.
You all saw the YouTube video, if not the actual night it aired. I didn't see it then.
Yes.
What is she? She's 21. She just turned 21 a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I felt the look of disgust come over my face as she was just pushing it beyond belief. It was not sex to me. It was just sort of garbage pornography, if anything. So what was on your face? Dr. Amy, how did you react when you first saw it?
I mean, Miley Cyrus is that classic. I think of her as the Hannah Montana good egg that's sort of cracked. And now she's the dirty birdie. And although, I mean, there are some good things to say. She obviously went from having long hair and this cute little smile to having short, shaved hair, tattooed fingers. Her tongue's always out. Her clothes are really short. As a mother, I don't consider her a role model, but she certainly is a brilliant PR person.
Well, Dr. Michelle, that's sort of it to me, is that this is all by design. She probably sat down with her handlers and said, okay, we need to notch this up to the next level. This is all about marketing, brand enhancement, and dollars and cents.
Definitely. And from that standpoint, I think she is brilliant. She seems to know what she's doing from a marketing standpoint, but there is that concern that she still is only just 21. And from an individual standpoint, what does that really mean when her handlers are exploiting her? And what does it mean for our teens when this is the role models that they're seeing, the images that they're seeing?
Dr. Amy doesn't think she's a role model. She's speaking as a parent. How about you as a parent? Don't you think that when your kids get a little older, she might in fact, or people like this might in fact have influence?
I do think she has influence. And I actually think what's interesting about Miley is that she is so multidimensional. So there's one aspect in which she is a bad influence. I think the dressing provocatively and scantily clad, being over-sexualized is a poor influence. However, there is a part of her, this I don't care what people think. I am who I am. I don't mind if people judge me because I accept myself. That message is actually really powerful in a positive way to teens. And I think we need to talk to our teens about the different messages and help them sort it out a little bit.
I agree, but I also think she's kind of impulsive. I mean, her tattoos on her fingers now may not be bothersome for her, and it may take her far in life. But let's say you have your child who's getting tattoos on her fingers, and now she wants to go out and get a job. Those aren't going to be, as an employer, somebody I'm going to hire probably.
So do you think twerking, I mean, this whole concept of twerking, did she originate that? I'm sorry, I'm not completely in the loop on all of this. Twerking, as you told me, is defined simply as
ahead,
to dance to popular music in a sexually provocative manner involving thrusting hip movements and low squatting stance.
I do not believe that she created this. I think she has thrown it into mega sensation. If you Google twerking on YouTube, you can find many images of young women twerking. And that, I think, is concerning. I think one of the things our adolescents don't really understand is that social media is an instant and a permanent and a far-reaching mechanism. So when they post these things, they're going to be there forever.
So you're saying that kids do some twerking between a little video of it, and they put that on there?
On their YouTube.
They videotape themselves scantily clad.
There's Snapchat, where maybe they do it, but it disappears.
Mm-hmm. No, this is on you. If you Google it, right now, you'll find many images of young people, and it is concerning from that standpoint.
John, you're on WGN. Are you a parent?
Yes, I am.
And what do you think about this?
It's unfortunate because there's so many different aspects that you look at that as, because it's what you allow your kids to be exposed to. Now, you can't control everything, but if you have internet on the house and you put some type of protection on the computers or laptops that don't allow them to go into those types of sites. But then you look at the people why children are doing it, because they're mocking their sort of role models, and maybe it's an attention type of thing that they want to be like somebody else.
Absolutely.
And the sad thing about Miley Cyrus is that, she was a positive role model. Now she's a negative one. So is it okay for all nice girls when they're young to become bad girls as they get older? And the point I like is well, wait till you get older and you're trying to find a job. Well, how are you going to explain this to your grandchildren? That, this was grandma when she was 21. What pride is there in that?
This is the guinea pig generation. We will not know for another 20 plus years.
Right. And we've got 20-year-olds or younger acting as an adult, but you can't really expect them to act like an adult. Their brains aren't developed enough, and they're acting impulsive.
What John said, though, about parental controls. John, does that imply almost that you don't trust your kid? I mean...
Well, how can you trust your kid? I mean, because as children, we know they do stuff that they don't want us to know. You know that. And if they're influenced by their peers or by other people, then of course they're going to want to be, fit along. I don't want to be square.
Well, you got to have, as Dr. Epstein said, you need to have that talk, too. You need to be communicating with them about role models and the reality of people who act this way. And when is it appropriate, if ever? You do that?
Exactly. Now, I'm a little disappointed in Billy Ray because he was famous. Now his daughter's famous. If he knew the road that he was at that one time, why would he want that for his child? Help her making wise decisions for her career. Not because she's 21, she could do whatever she wants. What if she wants to rob a bank? You're going to let your daughter rob a bank because she's 21?
You kind of wonder.
Some sense, parents.
You wonder what kind of conversations he's had with his daughter. We're talking with Doctors Amy Brodsky and Michelle Epstein. We're talking about the influence, for good or ill, of Miley Cyrus. And heck, she's not the only teen or Disney star that's gone. I mean, who's the poster child?
Well, there's Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay Lohan, obviously.
There's Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes, who was, I think, on Nickelodeon. Britney Spears has had her share of troubles. She started on Disney. There's a long string of
similar
stars
patterns.
who started out well, and I don't know if they've been exploited or made bad decisions or been ill-advised, but...
There's Demi Lovato that went straight from Disney to rehab. She touts.
That is true. And actually, I want to comment on that. Again, one of the pieces where I think there can be a positive spin of this is that some of these stars have used their celebrity to bring awareness to mental health issues. Some of them have suffered from substance abuse or depression, and they've talked about it. They've gotten treatment. Some have had unsuccessful treatments, unfortunately. But I think there is a piece of that where some celebrities have used that in a positive way to educate and bring awareness, and that piece is good. Unfortunately, I think there's many others who are probably undertreated or underdiagnosed.
And they're the ones who are in the gossip magazines.
Yeah.
Because that's what people want to see and talk about and have that morbid curiosity about their lives. It reminds me of the point that Elvis Presley in the 1950s, how many parents looked at him with revulsion and thought, this is the music of the devil. The Beatles in subsequent generations. Alex, you're on WGN. That resonates with you, doesn't it? Alex, pick up the ball. We got some pace going here, baby. So tell me about Elvis Presley's influence.
I'm sorry, that's what I was going to say. I think it's a lot to do about nothing. Each generation, and I'm 58, and I remember when, they showed Elvis from the waist up because it was, oh my God, they didn't want to see him gyrating. Look at our girl, Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon. When she transitioned, everyone said, oh my God, These kids are amazing. They are smart, they are articulate, and then in a lot of cases you have to look at the powers behind them that are pushing them towards some of these more sexually explicit and more provocative things because basically sex sells. So if we allow that to to continue on and make a lot to do about nothing of it, then we will push them over the edge on it. I mean, remember, you couldn't wear an earring in your ear or turn your hat backwards or that type of thing. In time, this too may pass.
But Alex, at what point is too much? I mean, what Miley is trying to do, my sense is to take it to the next level, to do something so provocative that it just gets people, her wagging tongue and all the gyrations. She wants to just do more of that so that she becomes the conversation topic of the moment.
Well, Bill,
so she can sell.
She is the entertainer of the year. I mean,
just like kids. Remember, me too. I want attention. Show me. I no longer want to be known as the little Disney cute girl. I want to be myself, and this, whatever defines me. Perhaps in time she will tone it down, but there is a governor that will put, she'll reach this point.
An internal governor?
An internal governor, I believe, because basically I think she's a good kid. I mean, she has some issues going, but what kid in show business does not? It's a rarity when you see someone that has all these yes people and all this money, and they are not profoundly affected. So I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
Alex, I'm glad you called. Thanks so much.
Well, it's so interesting because we're hearing both sides of this, and she is so controversial. And I thought this really explained it so well. She is now currently on the Entertainment Weekly's Entertainer of the Year list, and on GQ's least influential celebrities list at the same time. Yeah. I think that sums up how controversial she is. She's so polarizing. Yeah. People either love her or they hate her. And she's getting a ton of attention for that.
Dr. Amy, let me ask you about this.
Yep.
How about the double standard here for boys?
Oh, yeah.
When Justin Bieber, age 19, did some rather provocative things, shall we say, it was the sort of boys will be boys attitude, and then it just passes.
Yeah, it's sort of a gender gap. I don't know why male celebrities don't necessarily have the same standards as female celebrities in society. I'd be curious to hear what some callers think about that. With Justin Bieber, I think he's banned from going back to Brazil over the last year.
Not a great hardship.
No.
But still, in the media, I didn't hear, I heard a lot of speculating, a lot of talk about some of the things he did, but it didn't seem to stick in terms that Miley now has as her image this girl who's gone over the top, went a little too far.
More stigma for Miley. Yeah, he's been criticized, but there is definitely more stigma. I think she has probably also taken it slightly to the nth degree. I mean, in her latest video, she is absolutely spanking nude on a wrecking ball. That's pretty much, I don't know how much farther you can take it. So she's really working the, provocative angle. But she has also been criticized a lot more than some of these, rock star boys behaving badly.
Who has daughters?
I have a daughter.
Both of us, yeah.
Right.
And sons.
But they're young. Mm-hmm. If they were teenaged, what would be going through your mind? Would you having caution? A wary eye toward your kids? Would you be looking for opportunities to have the talk with them about appropriate behavior?
Oh, yes. Definitely. I think that is kind of an ongoing thing. I think you start young, but the inappropriate behavior is benign or more benign, and then you set the foundation for continuing to have these conversations. And I think why Miley Cyrus or Lindsay Lohan, these stars, are a good place to start is because sitting down with your teens and talking about pop culture, which is what they're interested in, is a great place to start because it's something they want to talk about. And listening to their opinions, being open to the fact that they may think she's great, and being willing to hear why they think that, and then sharing your views, I think is a nice way to have a conversation that's not threatening to your
Dr.
teens.
Amy, you can't denounce Miley Cyrus if the kids feel that she's a celebrity star that they'd like to emulate.
I kind of polled a bunch of my patients, and it was very interesting. We were talking about this morning. Some of the younger kids are like, ooh, Miley Cyrus, she's kind of dirty and slutty now. And then the older kids, they realize that her image has changed, but they actually also realize how talented she is. They like her songs. I also had a mother that said, I can't believe I'm buying a ticket to her concert in March for $150.